Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia here and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup Stage 1 Awards. Okay, it's awards time for Stage 1, and Stage 1 was a pretty interesting stage, even though we did have goats as the meta. But there is one thing I need to go over before we start this, and that is some news for the Atlanta Reign. So, one of our best loved, most entertaining players of Stage 1 will not be joining us for Stage 2. Providing this is not a debate, and yes, it didn't come up on April the 1st, so I don't think it is. Both sides released statements. Dafran has retired from competitive Overwatch. This was apparently agreed a week before the Stage 1 playoffs. Dafran didn't want to make it public because he wanted the concentration to be on the team and how they perform on the stage. I don't think anyone can have any complaints about how Atlanta did this stage. Dafran was an integral part of that throughout the stage. The only disappointing thing is we don't get to see Dafran on the Overwatch League stage in a DPS meta, which might be coming up in Stage 2. It's sad. Dafran, I think this big thing for Dafran is he's going out on a high, which when he was part of Selfless back in 2017, he really didn't. It's been a privilege to watch Dafran in the Overwatch League. He's been one of the best Zarya's all stage. He also got to play as Torbjorn on the murder hole, or well, on Ilios. And it's been a thrill watching Dafran, and we wish him all the best. He is now going to be a streamer attached to the Atlanta Reign organization. A bit like XQC, if you see what I mean. He's going to, from what I can see, he's going to have Overwatch as his main game. XQC doesn't anymore, but he's going to have Overwatch as his main game, Dafran, and then play Variety a lot more than he does now. So, good luck to Dafran, but we move on to Stage 1. Stage 1 was a thrilling stage. Obviously, we now know that Vancouver were eventually our winners in a thrilling game against San Francisco Shock, but there are a lot of highlights to go through. So, how are we going to start this off? Basically, I'm going to name, I think, the best player from each position in GOATs, because basically that's what we saw. There's also an add-on to that, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, let's start off with the biggest shock in terms of game, right? Now, shock upsets, there were a few. We had the Florida Mayhem beating a Philadelphia Fusion, which is a big shock upset, and Florida's only win of the stage. But I didn't go for that one. The one I went for was Shanghai beating London Spitfire. I thought London would win that game against Shanghai, and if they were going to lose a game in the run into the stage playoffs, they were going to lose against Seoul. But they lost to Shanghai, which ultimately really didn't do them any favours, as they did miss out in the end at stage playoffs. Shanghai also come up as another award. This is the most improved team since 2018. I don't think the only other team I was thinking about for this award was Dallas Fuel. The reason I didn't give it to Dallas Fuel is the fact that we already saw improvement from Dallas Fuel at the end of Overwatch League 2018, the inaugural season, Stage 4. They did quite well and did actually reach the stage playoffs. So that's why Dallas Fuel didn't get it. But Shanghai have now got 3 wins on the board. That's obviously more than they had in the whole of last season. Things are looking really promising for Shanghai, and I think we're only going to see them improve further. So it's been a really good stage for Shanghai, and it's nice to see them on the board. The problem is with Shanghai is they're also going to get the award for most embarrassing moment of Stage 1. And I think we already know what this is. This is Youngjin's C9 on Dorado. Oh, Shanghai, oh, Shanghai, oh, Shanghai. I never want to see that again. Thank you very much. Right. Award for most disappointing team of the stage. Now, this is a difficult one. I was torn between 2 teams. One was London Spitfire. Because obviously they were our champions and they went 0-2 in the first week. and basically didn't have a brilliant stage, mostly down to the meta, I'd imagine. It's just not London Spitfires. Piece of cake. Goats, they'd rather play some DPS, thank you very much. But ultimately, I think I'm going to have to give it to Valiant. Yeah. Valiant. Not been the best of stages, has it? I mean, they've had a massive shake-up to their coaching staff now. So we'll see what happens in Stage 2 for Valiant. But they will go down as my most disappointing team, unfortunately. Just ahead of London Spitfire there. I hope we get to see Valiant on the board in Stage 2. If we don't, then you're going to have serious worries for that team. We've got the LA Derby in Stage 2 as well. Should be interesting. But I believe their first week is actually against Florida. So if there's any time to win, Florida's your people to beat. So, let's move on to Goats, shall we? So, Goats. Best Zarya in the league, I am going to give to Sinatra. He has the most damage output in the league. And if Shock were to, not saying that the meta is going to be Goats next stage, but there might be dashes of Goats in it. If Shock find a way of working around Sinatra like Vancouver do Bumper, then Shock could be unstoppable, because Sinatra is literally an absolute god on Zarya. But it's looking really interesting, and Sinatra had a really good stage, and he would crop it up a little bit later as well. Best Reinhardt in the league. It's not Bumper. The reason it's not Bumper is because Bumper gets a bit cocky, and he threw at certain points for Vancouver. That's how powerful Vancouver are right now. You can have Bumper throwing at certain points and still be winning all your matches. But it's not Bumper, it's Super. Again, for the San Francisco Shock, Super was absolutely phenomenal during the playoffs, and he's been like on and off during the season, but he's been getting better. And in those playoffs, I think he was better than Bumper. But the teamwork of Vancouver ultimately won out in the end. Super was an incredible Reinhardt, and I can't give it to him over Mano of the New York Excelsior, because of New York Excelsior's demise, shall we say, in the quarterfinals of the Stage 1 playoffs. Moving on, we have the best Zenyatta. Now, this will be controversial. I've gone for Boombox. Now, the reason I've gone for Boombox is the stats prove things for Boombox. When he's in that Philadelphia Fusion team, they only lost one game. That was the playoff semi-final against Shock. The rest of the games they won, Boombox played. The games they didn't win was where they played Elk out of position where Boombox was ill. That was the loss to Florida. So, and the loss to Florida, and I can't remember what the other game was now. But the proof's in the pudding. Boombox is crucial to the Fusion, and he is a really good Zenyatta, and he's very good at getting picks as well. So that's why he's kind of I've put him above some people. The best Lucio in the league goes to Slime of the Vancouver Titans. I can argue with this. Slime set up some massive plays for Vancouver with his boops. Yes, we saw it from other Lucios, but from Slime, I think he was just a bit more consistent than the other Lucios. Whether that's because of the teamwork level that Vancouver were working at, I don't know. But I had to give it to Slime in the end. Best Diva actually goes to Meko. The reason for this is I think Meko was the most consistent. The only dip Meko had was during the the quarterfinal against Seoul. Apart from that, Meko looked really good, as he always does. So, I think Meko's a stable pick compared to some of the other divas in the league, but that's another controversial one. And yes, we have to give a best Brigitte, and that goes to Haxel of the Vancouver Titans. Again, really consistent, very good at what he does. even though he's not a Brig main. Well, he is a Brig main, but he's a DPS, and he doesn't want to play Brig. So, like, last season, it would have gone to Prophet, but Prophet doesn't play Brigitte anymore, he plays Zarya, and his Zarya is, like, not as bad as Birdrings, but, like, not as good as everyone else in the league. So, Brigitte goes to Haxel, so that gives you my best team. It's Sinatra, Super, Boombox, Slime, Meko, and Haxel, which would be quite interesting to see in a team together. And Nyan Unstoppable, I would have thought. Most improved player from 2018. This is interesting. This goes to AKM. Who'd have thunk it? Dallas Fuel had a good stage despite missing out on those playoffs. And that is mainly off the back of a rejuvenation of AKM. AKM was below par last season, I think we all agreed with that. And we didn't want to see AKM on Genji. We all know that meme. But AKM on Zarya has seen him improve massively. And if he can improve his hitscan DPS play like he has improved while playing Zarya, then I hope we see more of AKM, because I think he will be crucial to the efforts of the Dallas Fuel in the next 3 stages. So, Pog for AKM, most improved player. Next we get to MVPs. So, regular season MVP will go to Somin Su of the Vancouver Titans, their Zarya player, very consistent throughout the stage, and Nyan Unstoppable. Why did this not go to Sinatra? Well, it didn't go to Sinatra because Sinatra was shut down by the New York Excelsior and Vancouver during the regular season, the regular stage. He was caught out of position, too aggressive, and they capitalized on that. That's why Sinatra doesn't get this. What Sinatra does get is my playoffs MVP, because this was fixed when San Francisco Shock played Vancouver in the final. It wasn't Sinatra that was getting picked out all the time. Sinatra was very, very good during the playoffs. And as I said in the review of that week, if it had been anyone else but Vancouver, I think Shock would have won it, and won it quite easily, even against the New York Excelsior. It's just Vancouver's teamwork comes out above everything else. And it's just absolutely crazy to see. Vancouver's teamwork is, in my opinion, the best in the league by far. Their shot calling as well. But playoffs MVP is Sinatra, and regular stage MVP is So Min Soo. And I want to give out one last award. Two last awards, actually. Most entertaining team to watch goes to the Chengdu Hunters. Simply because we saw a lot less goats from Chengdu than every other team. Another award that goes out is the best Hammond, or the best Wrecking Ball, and that goes to Ameng of the Chengdu Hunters. Because I just wanted to highlight the fact that Chengdu, and especially Ameng, has by far the most played time on Hammond throughout the league. He's like hundreds of hours in front of everyone else. Or minutes, or whatever. He is miles in front of everyone else in terms of Hammond. He is a very, very, very good Hammond. Like, crazy good. And it was nice to see. You always know when you're going into a Chengdu Hunters game that you were going to see something that wasn't mirrored comps. And just Zarya grabbing and everyone dying. And then Reinhardt shattering and everyone dying. It was okay. It was just like DPS, right? We got to see DPS and Wrecking Ball, which was really, really interesting. Plus, perhaps just a bit of an insight into Stage 2. Yeah. So let's finish this up. That is the awards, and it's been a really good stage. Stage 2 should be really interesting. Still really no indications on the meta. You look at ranked right now, it's an absolute blooming mess. No one knows what to play. All I've seen, actually, is Hammond and triple DPS. Sneaky boy might be Doomfist, because Doomfist has been buffed, and I've seen a lot more Doomfist being played but ranked doesn't translate to Pro Overwatch. We don't know what the meta is. As many people will tell you, there is no meta in ranked Overwatch right now, even at the high level, because no one knows what the meta is. We will probably not find out what the meta is until, I don't know, week 2 of Overwatch League Stage 2. It's going to be interesting to find out. There will be a preview for Stage 2, but do be warned that Stage 2 will probably start off with GOATs and then develop into something else. Because the teams will be still working out what's best to play. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Sombra. I wouldn't be surprised to see Doomfist. And it should be really interesting. Maybe, just maybe, we will see Space Jam again. Which, if you don't know, is Zarya's Grav and Doomfist's not Seismic Slam. What's it called? Doomfist's Ultimate anyway. Whatever. But I don't think we've seen the last of GOATs. Just remember that. But those are your awards. Well done to the teens. And I will be back for a Stage 2 preview. Very shortly. I don't know exactly what day, but very shortly. So for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.